Alrighty guys, here we are at RVO again. As you know, at the drags, I couldn't build boost on the line. Now we're going to try this first. We're going to try and reset the torque converter settings, and it was also skipping first to second gear or doing something weird. It was shifting way too hard, I think because I hit the limiter. I hit the limiter, so it shifted itself, and then I hit the shifter, so it shifted again. So I went first, second, third really quick. So we're going to play around with it here. I'll just go and show you. So first thing we've found is there's no torque reduction whatsoever in first gear. So that's not going to help. That's going to make it thump real hard. It's probably a bit too savage for my setup. So we're going to play around with the tune. Let's see what we can come up with. So here we go guys, I've just zoomed in. It's a bit hard with phones and computer screens, but if you can see there, is this torque reduction on, is it, or off?
Yeah, that's on.
On. So this is what we want. And before, apparently, this whole table was zero, was it?
The other way around, we're going to zero it out. We're going to get rid of the torque reduction in first gear.
Right.
So it shifts straight instantly. There's no cut of the ignition timing.
Right. Okay, so that's going to sort out the first to second. So is that why it was so? Oh, you've just zeroed it there. So you can see how that whole table's now zero, guys. Apparently, that's going to be a little bit nicer on the first to second shift. So yeah, this is the table for first gear. As you can see, trans, main, torque management, first gear, RPM versus torque. So we're playing around with the first to second shift, and hopefully it won't shock itself into wanting to shift into the third gear. So we're just flashing the file. There we go, it only takes a couple of seconds. Took a while to read, so this is the new updated file with first gear changed. I'm not sure if Dave's done the torque reduction or the play around with the torque converter settings yet. I think he might have zeroed them out because he's sent you. This is a whole file we've uploaded, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the file that was already on there. So we've just done the torque reduction, I think, and then he's going to check out the torque converter settings afterwards.
Bit by bit, we'll get there.
So the main thing we were looking at here is this table here for torque reduction. So when you put a high stall in a car, that's not populated now. You can see we put all zeros there because we don't want it to pull any.
So it was
populated. I'll show you in a second, for instance.
I filmed that before.
Populated.
Yeah, righto.
Yeah. So what that'll be is when you're not moving, pretty much if you start stalling the car up at a certain amount of torque and a certain amount of RPM, it's going to start pulling torque.
Right.
Or shutting the throttle body to try and kill the torque.
Right.
So whenever you put a high stall in, to make use of the high stall, so it's not trying to pull torque while you're trying to get it up on converter, you need to zero this table there.
All right, so we'll give it a little test and see if it stalls up.
See if it hits up, yeah.
All right. All right, guys, we'll stall it up and see if it works. So as you can see, guys, that only just got to 5 and struggled to get to 6. So looks like we need a converter.
Need a bigger converter.
That's easy fixed. Dave's going to sponsor me a converter. You heard that live on video. All right, it is what it is, guys. It looks like we're going to have to put a converter in it, which is fine.
See, the converter that's in this should do 26 to 2800, but obviously because of your cams and your turbo size, it just can't get there.
Yeah, 2800's obviously not enough for cams and the bigger turbo. So live and learn, and we'll put a converter in it. As you know, guys, this car's still plenty of fun on the street. Still lights them up rolling at second gear, third gear, 80, 100k. So we're just going to get this launch sorted and maybe head back to the track one day. So as you've seen in the video, it didn't build any boost. So we tried a few settings. As you can see, we played around with the torque converter settings. We zeroed out all the torque reduction in first gear because when the ECU reads too much torque, it can pull timing and shut the throttle body and things like that, which will not help it spool up on the line. But it didn't work. So we have to put a converter in it, which is fine. I sort of knew we were going down that path. I don't know if it showed in the video where I've got the video of the boost gauge and the dash. I'm not sure if it quite showed the RPM, but the stall converter was doing what it was supposed to do. It's a 26 to 2800 stall converter. It's just the factory turbo converter that's been modified. and it was stalling to 28. It wouldn't go anymore. We couldn't push through it. We didn't have enough boost to push through it. Sometimes you can push through the converter where it's supposed to stall. You can push through it a little bit if you've got enough power. But as you've seen on the gauge, 6 pound is no good for launching. It's no good for nothing. So at the drags, I think I got 7, maybe 8 out of it, but I had to sit on the line for ages, and it's not really good for the car to do that. So give me a few months. I've got few little things to get sorted. I've got a few little issues with the wheels and tyres at the moment. I want to fix them up. They're poking out a little bit, so I want to get them machined. Hopefully to get them to sit in a little bit, and I can fit a wider tyre so the tyre is not stretched on the rim as much. And yeah, we'll get probably somewhere between 32 and 3400 converter, somewhere around there, which should give us what we need on the line. You know, I only need to build sort of 10, 12, maybe a little bit more pound of boost on the line, and it should get off the line a whole lot better. So that's coming up in the next few months. You know, it's going to take some time and some money to get it organised. I'll be able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone because I've got a little bit of a rear main leak. Some of you guys will remember, I stuffed up the catch can setup when I put the new engine in, and that resulted in pressurising the sump. Now, as it did that, obviously there was way too much pressure down the bottom of the engine, and it forced oil out of both of the seals. Now, it was only minor at the time. The front crank seals since dried up, obviously since we've dropped the pressure and there's no pressure in the sump, but now the rear main is absolutely pissing out. So the car's sort of off the road for that reason and from the tyres. So we'll get to that in the future, and hopefully with a new converter it'll be a little bit more of an animal too, so it'll probably come on boost a whole lot harder on the street. So I'm looking forward to that. But we tried, you know, it's a lot easier just to try these settings, because there are so many different settings in the auto that you can play with, as you've seen. Yeah, there's so much you can do, but it wasn't what the car needed. It needs a bigger stall converter. So I am going to have the tune looked at. Maybe there's something in the tune that they can do to help it spool up, retard the timing. I don't know. There could be something they can do. But I think at the end of the day, we're going to need a new converter. So that's the path we'll go down. Now, while I've got you guys, on a little bit of a sad note, this is quite important and very important to me. We actually had one of the club members pass away not too long ago. Through tragic circumstances. He was only about 40 years old. He was working on his car at night by himself. I don't know the whole circumstances of what happened. Cut a long story short, his dad found him in the morning under the car. I don't know if he was using a jack stand. I don't know what kind of jack he was using, or if he had the wheels chocked. It was a manual. But please, guys, if you're working on your car by yourself or even with mates, even if it's a quick job, even if you're just looking under there for a quick minute, please use jack stands. I always have a jack stand and the jack. So I'll leave the jack supporting the sill or the frame or wherever I'm jacking the car up. I'll leave the jack there and I'll put a jack stand under. And even sometimes I'll put a wheel under the sill just to be sure. So please, guys, if you're working on your cars, especially by yourself, or you're on uneven ground or a little bit of a sloped surface, chock the wheels, use the handbrake, leave it in park, have it on jack stands, have the jack still supporting the car, so you've got multiple things. If something does go wrong, you know, put a chock behind and in front of the wheel, not just behind because it could roll forward, or not just in front of the wheel because it could roll behind. So please, guys, when you're working on your cars there, I know sometimes it's just a quick job and I just want to quickly do this before I go out. It doesn't take more than a couple of minutes to go and grab your jack stand from the shed, or even your spare wheel, and chuck it under the sill. So if the worst does happen, you've got some protection. So RIP to Benno. He was a great bloke. We've had heaps of cruises and mucked up a little bit, you know, having a few drinks here and there, and he was a top bloke. Always there with a smile, always had his car presented the very best it could be. He had a really nice 5th anniversary black GT with a 5.4 manual. I think it had a better diff gears, and it was a pretty good skid machine, but he's no longer with us. It was a tragic accident. So please, guys, if you're working on your car, use jack stands, keep the jack under there, do whatever you need to do to make sure you're working on your car safe. All right, that's going to be the end of the video. As you see, no real luck. We have to put a converter in it, so it is what it is. and that'll be time for another video. I'm probably going to try and actually, when we pull the box out, I'm actually going to do the rear main, as I said, at the same time. And David RVO said it's probably time for a freshen up. You know, it's been 4 years now, quite a bit of power. It's been in the drags 3 or 4 times, you know, roll racing and, you know, mucking up on the street. So probably time to give the box a freshen up, and that'll be time for another video in the coming months. But for now, that's it. Thanks for watching the video, and take care.